Steel City, is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 3 edition of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, here with Jay Dash, bringing you the top fantasy coverage in the world. Dash, the best fantasy expert in the world. I don't think you've ever been wrong about a fantasy move in your whole life.
Well, I said LaShawn McCoy over, who was it last week, and I was wrong, man.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't think you've ever been wrong.
Well, I tell you what, I did say C.J. Anderson over Lamar Miller. That one worked out. But LaShawn McCoy over someone, man, and it didn't work out. Someone who had a big week 1, and I was like, don't overreact. But he had a big week 2. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. You can't be right on all of them.
Fans, if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread, and hit me up on Twitter at betjim2win. That's the number 2, Jim, the number 2, win. Hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/betthespread. Submit your questions below here in the comment section on YouTube. You can submit any question to any episode. We get the notification. We'll give you a quick answer.
It was Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem,
yes.
Get the money.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Kansas City Chiefs, y'all.
Anthony wants to know, is Paul Perkins worth stashing? He's in a 12-team standard league with 2 starting running backs and a flex. His other running backs are Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, Duke Johnson, Chris Johnson, and the Muscle Hamster.
Yeah, I mean, you have a decent number of running backs there, but in a 12-team league, he is the guy out there in New York. It's not a great option to have, but I think in a 12-team league, he is a guy worth having on your bench, yeah.
Stash him. Junior Marshall, he's in a 12-team PPR league. Todd Gurley for A.J. Green or Todd Gurley for Devontae Adams and Isaiah Crowell?
A.J. Green. I'd just go with the best player.
Even with the struggles in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I think so. He's had double digits both weeks, and like you said, there's been struggles out there. It's going to get a little better at least, so I think A.J. Green's still a pretty good fantasy option.
Kelly wants to pick up Curse. Should she drop Moncrief or Galladay?
I'd say Moncrief at this point. T.Y. Hilton hasn't had the biggest week so far, but I think right now he's the only guy you want out there in the receiving game for Indianapolis. Galladay, he looks okay. Young guy, I think he'll be all right during the season. Detroit looks like a pretty good offense, so I'm going to keep Galladay right now.
Ian says, so Greg Olsen is injured. He picks up O.J. Howard as a backup at the end of his draft, but he didn't expect to want to have to use him. Should he roll with Howard and see what happens, or pick up Charles Clay, Jesse James, or Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram. Go pick him up. I think he's your best option for sure. I'd like to keep Howard on your bench if you can. If you can drop someone else, maybe do that. I think Howard's going to get better as the season goes along. Yeah, I think he had 1 catch for 17 yards last week. I'd hold him for now if you can. If that's the only spot you have, I still go Ingram.
Are you dropping Olsen at this point?
What, they said 8 weeks? Nah, I don't think so. He's one of the better tight ends in the game. Now, if you have to, I guess you can, but I'm trying to hold him. I went and picked up David Johnson. I heard he might be out until like week 12 or something, so I'm hoping he just comes back for the playoffs for me.
Aaron wants to know, who is the better start? Fournette versus Baltimore in London, Abdullah versus Atlanta, or Cohen at home versus the Steelers?
Well, I mean, we talked about Cohen in our Steelers segment. I think he can get it done in the passing game, man, and I think that's the route they may have to go if they can't get it going in the running game. If they want a useful workload out of some running backs out there, it's going to be in the passing game, I believe. So he's not a terrible option, but I think I go Abdullah. I don't like the London game, and Fournette against Baltimore is a tough matchup. I know Fournette looks good so far, but Abdullah looks pretty good as well. Detroit's moving the ball. I think I'm going with him.
Chris Gibbs wants to trade Le'Veon Bell for Crabtree and Doug Martin. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, don't do it.
You never trade Le'Veon Bell. I mean, there might be 3 players that you trade him for, and you never want to be the guy who's getting rid of the best player. You always want to be the one who receives the best player. 3 crappy guys don't equal 1 good guy.
Well, Crabtree isn't crappy, first of all. He's a pretty good receiver, but Le'Veon Bell's the guy, man. He's going to get that offense is going to get going eventually here. It may not be this week in Chicago, but it's going to get going eventually, and Le'Veon Bell's going to have some huge games for you.
Yeah, Crabtree somewhere around mid first-tier receiver, maybe high second-tier, and Doug Martin, block that dude.
Yeah.
Stephen Tran asked how long he should hold on to Powell before he drops him.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I have him on my bench, and if I find someone better, I'll drop him. I don't care at this point. It's not like I have a ton of options on my bench. I have Duke Johnson as well. I didn't draft too many running backs, and I'll still drop Powell. I don't give a crap. If I see someone out there that I think can give me some good numbers in a given week, I'll go pick them up. So if you think someone's out there, drop Powell now if you want. He'll give you some good games throughout the season, but he's inconsistent, and it's going to be tough to know when to play him and when not to.
This one's a Dynasty League question. Curtis Singer wants to know, better long-term value, Derrick Henry or Alvin Kamara?
I'm going to say Derrick Henry. I think once Murray's done, not that I'm saying Murray's done, but Derrick Henry's a beast, and he's already showed it. He showed it some last year. He already showed it last week. Once he takes over as the number 1 running back eventually, it might not be this season. It could be in the future. I think he's a guy you want to own.
Yeah, I think you're just going to keep seeing the workload increase for Henry there in Tennessee. Not, that Murray's out, but he's older, so if they want him to be as productive as he can be, a little less is more for him. And then probably Murray will be a cap casualty next year. So honestly, it'll probably be Henry next year, as long as he plays well.
I believe.
Jeff Hess asks, just offered Melvin Gordon and Tyreek Hill for Ezekiel Elliott and Chris Hogan. I'm very close to saying yes, full PPR. He has Zeke and Hogan.
He has Zeke and Hogan, and he's bringing in who?
Trading them for Gordon and Hill.
I'm not a big fan of Gordon. Zeke looked like crap last week. I think they're going to get going, though. I think Denver's defense is a pretty good defense, and Dallas's offense wasn't themselves. They're going to get going, and Zeke's going to be one of the top running backs. If you're okay taking that downgrade to Gordon, I'm all about Tyreek Hill, so I think it's good in that aspect, but I still think Ezekiel Elliott's the best player out of all these guys.
I agree. I think he, if anybody on that Dallas offense, is going to be the one to get going. Prescott played mistake-free football last year, but it's not like he put up beast numbers, and Des Bryant didn't have a great year either. So it's really on Elliott's shoulders, and if they're going to get going, he's got to get going, and I think he will. I'm not saying you can't lead the league in rushing one year and be terrible next year, but the dude was so good last year, no way he drops completely off. Hey, Mark Cruz wants to know if Luck is worth stashing or is he a wasted roster spot? Because I know you have Luck.
Yeah, if you ask me, I'm stashing him right now, so I think it's worth it. And I have Derek Carr, so it's not like I'm waiting for a good quarterback. I do have a good quarterback. I'm still going to wait on Andrew Luck, I believe, unless something happens where I really need to pick up someone and I need that spot. But I think if you have room, it's definitely worth stashing him. This guy was a first-round pick, last year or the year before?
Believe it. Spencer says, I just traded Trevor Siemian for Derek Carr. Good choice. Man, whoever traded Spencer, Derek Carr for Trevor Siemian, he needs to offer that person all his terrible players for all their good ones. Because who the hell would do that? Spencer, you won out hardcore on this deal.
Yeah, I don't think I have to say anything more. Derek Carr is the guy you want. That's ridiculous. Trevor Siemian leads the league in touchdowns right now. Somebody overreacted. You took advantage. Good job.
Mo is also in a dynasty league. He says Derrick Henry and a last-round pick for Chris Carson and a third-round pick. Is it a good trade or not?
Ooh. That's not terrible. Getting the third-round pick is pretty nice. I think I would go that route. I think I would give up Henry, bring in Carson, and get that high pick.
It's hard to say, too, without knowing what else he has at running back for sure, because if if Henry's really going to gouge you. Not that he's a starter or whatever, so you would assume he's probably not his top back. But I agree with you, getting that third-round pick in a dynasty league, that's pretty big.
Yeah, especially since you're giving up last-round pick, you said, so that's a big difference right there.
Brian wants to know if he should play Hyde or Parker in the flex. He's leaning towards Hyde, but Parker has a nice matchup with the Jets with the possibility of Landry not playing.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I think Parker will be all right this week, but we seen Carlos Hyde just go out there and run all over the Seattle Seahawks, correct? That's who they played last week? Yes, so I'm liking Carlos Hyde right now. He looked good last week. He had a big run, and he put up big fantasy points, so I'm going to go with him. Who do they play? I didn't even look at who they played. I don't think it matters. Oh, that's tomorrow's game, so if you don't hear this, too bad. But yes, Rams at San Francisco, I'd go with Carlos Hyde. If you don't get this, who cares? Go with the other guy, Parker.
If you don't know, now you know.
That's it, though, man.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. Fans, questions, comments, like I said, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjim2win. That's Jim, the number 2, win. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/betthespread. Hit your comments down below in the comment section here on YouTube. Share it with your friends. Best fantasy football knowledge in the world, Craig.